On Wednesday, June 17th, we left the apartment in Reutlingen after being based there for 5 weeks. We now headed northeast, heading towards Berlin and a regional convention along the way. And on the way through the Romantic Road in Germany, we're going to visit Dinkelsbuhl and Rothenburg. The settlement of Dinkelsbuhl goes back to about 730. It is first mentioned in a deed in 1188. In 1826, King Ludwig I of Bavaria issued a decree to prevent the walls and towers from being pulled down. Today, Dinkelsbuhl is one of 4 old cities where the walls still exist and pretty much complete. In World War II, Dinkelsbuhl was left unscathed. The population when we visited was about 12,000. Dinkelsbuhl is a historic town in the state of Bavaria, founded in the 8th century. Dinkelsbuhl is one of 4 particularly striking historic towns that are the only towns in Germany that still have completely intact city walls. All 4 are in Bavaria. Here on the upper right you can see the outline of the wall, and on the left I have spotted the sites that we observed and as we walked around the city. In Dinkelsbuhl, you will see many half-timbered structures, such as this very large building here. The building on the right was built in the 16th century, and it was built to be the town's corn storage at the time. The German house originally is a half-timbered house in the core from the 15th century with a facade from the late Renaissance 16th century. It is the ancestral home of a patrician family. Today there is a hotel with a restaurant in the house. The German house stands between plastered houses. With its elaborate carvings, it is one of the most important townhouses of the German Renaissance and sets itself apart from other Dinkelsbuhl residential buildings. The house was built in 1440 as a turner's house. That's a craftsman who shaped wooden bowls, handles, spindles, and other objects on a lathe. St. George's Minster was built between 1448 and 1499. St. George, the patron saint of the church, was an early Christian martyr, traditionally believed to have been a Roman soldier executed for his faith around AD 303. Centuries later, he became the legendary knight who slew a dragon and rescued a princess, a medieval symbol of the triumph of good over evil. St. George's is called a minster, a traditional title given to an important historic church. Unlike a cathedral, a minster does not have to be the seat of a bishop. Built into the exterior of St. George's, we saw small devotional areas containing life-sized or nearly life-sized sculptural scenes from the final days of Christ. The oldest of these exterior areas date from around the period when the church was being completed in the late 15th century. Later scenes were added, creating a series of scenes that allowed worshippers to contemplate events even while outside the church. This one depicts the Last Supper. This scene depicts Jesus on the Mount of Olives. And this scene depicts the entombment of Jesus. These scenes are all outside at street level, so they are protected from vandalism. St. George's Minster is said to be one of the most beautiful wide aisle late Gothic churches in South Germany. Inside, there are 11 pairs of columns to support a vaulted roof with an intricate pattern of stars. And like many of the cathedrals, St. George's Minster is dedicated to the worship of Mary. And we see icons throughout the church for Mary. The primary thing to see in Dinkelsbuhl would be the ancient wall. The following photos were taken as we walked around the city wall. What was remarkable was that in the city wall we found doors that lead to current residences. It seems that the door leads to a residence that is actually on the other side of the wall. The tower in this photo is the debtor's tower or prison. We walked along the entire wall of Dinkelsbuhl, had a wonderful view at every point of the wall. This covered wooden footbridge across the former medieval city's moat at the White Tower. The present bridge dates from the 20th century and provides access to the complete city wall system. The debtor's tower marks the northwest corner of Dinkelsbuhl's medieval walls. Once used to detain people who couldn't pay their debts, it also belonged to a broader defensive line that included nearby structures. Three Kings Chapel is a small one-story Gothic chapel first recorded in 1378, memorable for its quiet presence on the old streets and its pointed arch windows that still read clearly as medieval. Step inside and the mood shifts from architectural curiosity to reflection. The chapel now holds a memorial and information panel commemorating the victims of the Nazi regime. Here are three of the gates through the city walls, built from the 14th century up to one of them that was replaced in the 17th century. In all of them, there's something to see, like holes where you look up where they could have poured hot tar or oil down on people coming through the gateway. Or the last one, a stairway down to the moat for the city. Leaving Dinkelsbuhl, we only have a short way to go for the evening to Rothenburg ob der Tauber.